Mabuhay! Today I am back to do Original vs All-Star Season Slaysian Royale Edition. I have done this for every All-Stars, every verse the world, etc. And if you didn't know, I basically just talk about the cast and say whether I preferred them on their original season or their All-Star season. Sometimes I prefer them the same amount, sometimes I'm indifferent the same amount. I have a lot to say, so without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so we're doing this in elimination order, starting off with the pork chop of the season, Madam Yoko. I'm going to be a bit controversial and say I'm indifferent the same amount. I am so sorry. I like her, don't get me wrong, but in both seasons, she didn't have much of a presence. She's on the quieter, more reserved side. And yes, you could say in Drag Race Belgique, she made it further than Slaysian Royale, but the presence was still lacking. And I've never been a fan of the drag itself. I'm sorry, Madam Yoko, don't hate me. Next up, we have Something Wong, and I definitely prefer her on UK Season 1. What really disappointed me about Something was she had years to perfect her drag before coming onto Slaysian Royale, yet the looks we saw weren't really up to scratch. Furthermore, she was a bit rude and aggressive in the limited time that we saw her. There was lots of drama, not all of it painting her in the best light. The Something Wong from UK Season 1 was a lot more endearing to me. I'm just saying my truth, okay? Original vs. All Stars sometimes gets controversial. Next is Ivory Glaze, and I love her the same amount. Mainly because she had pretty much the same run as her original season. Not a whole lot changed in terms of her storyline, but the endearing, adorable personality was still there. I just love Ivory so much. It was great to see her back, despite not lasting overly long. Now we are talking Kitty Space. Oh my god, I already loved Kitty Space so much on France Season 2, but I'm happy to announce that I loved her even more in Slaysian Royale. She was high in the first episode, safe in the second, and then won the third. Seeing her eliminated fourth made me sad, but she did kind of shoot herself in the foot when she revealed that she would have sent Arizona home. Her runways were top tier on Slaysian Royale. Her verse on Asian A sends me to another planet, which is fitting because her name is Kitty Space, and she's just the nicest person to interact with online. I have so much time for Kitty Space. I prefer her on Slaysian Royale. Okay, I was dreading this part. You guys know that Bernie is one of my favourite international queens of all time. She's top 10 for sure. If you only saw Bernie on Slaysian Royale, I implore you to watch Season 2. She's completely different. She won 2 challenges and made the finale. She was an absolute powerhouse and a strong contender for the crown. In Slaysian Royale, she was so quiet and subdued. I think she struggled the most with not being able to speak English confidently, but there was also something just missing from Bernie. It broke my heart to see. She had this constantly safe edit that was irritating her until she was put in the bottom 2 and eliminated the next episode. Her pulling off her wig at the end and crying devastated me. I wanted to see that Bernie that we know and love again. Therefore, I prefer her on Season 2. Now we have Siam, and I absolutely prefer her on Slaysian Royale over Thailand Season 3. When Siam was first cast, I was like, why? Why can't we have ZP, Kana Warrior, Candy Cyanide? But then I really fell in love with Siam and her quirky behaviour. In her original season, she was called out for being fake by her sisters. But this time around, she was called out for being satanic. So it's much better. When she stood on that table, I was sold. I love her so much now. She is an icon, giving us incredible television. Yuha I preferred on Slaysian Royale as well. Not only did she make it quite far, she won a challenge, which is a hell of a lot more than we could say for her original season. But not only that, Yuha was just a joy to watch. She has some of the best confessionals, she was so sweet, and she mentioned several times that Slaysian Royale healed something inside of her. She was able to make true connections and feel her most self in that competition. How could I possibly prefer her on Season 10? Like Bernie, Kiana is a difficult one to talk about. I actually expected her to win Slaysian Royale, and I got such a strong winner's edit from her the first time she stepped on the main stage. She also won the first Maxi Challenge. It just felt like this was her time and her moment, and then it all went downhill. Kiana almost quit at one point, was overlooked when she could have been in the top several times, and then by the end realized she had a rebranding journey to go on. It sucks seeing her this disheartened, but I'm glad she fought back and stayed until she couldn't any longer. I have no doubt she will dominate another season someday. Now we're at the top 4. I'm going to say Suki Doll came fourth, but it was really a tie between her and Arizona. Suki I prefer in Slaysian Royale because I feel like she had more of a presence than Canada too. She's grown a lot as a person and a drag artist as well. She won a challenge, she was so kind and generous to her sisters all season long, and won Miss Congeniality for the second time. I've always been a fan of Suki, but Slaysian Royale reminded me of why I love her so much. Arizona Brandy I also preferred on Slaysian Royale. If I'm being completely honest, I didn't really connect with her in season 2. I didn't want her to win because we had 3 trans queens in the finale and I just felt like it should go to one of them. But this season, Arizona really proved herself. I think her branding was the strongest it has ever been. I really fathomed who Arizona is and saw her strengths fully realized. She's funny, she's a great performer, and a great lip syncer. She also has the best confessionals and a heart of gold. I am such a fan of her now. And now we have our top 2. Venus Deluxe, my personal favourite from this season. I'm not upset that she didn't win, but there was a point earlier in the season where it felt like that's where it was heading. She had 2 back-to-back wins, she was getting a lot of airtime, and I was like, oh, Venus is taking it. At least she made the top 2, which is incredible in and of itself. But I have to say, I like her the same amount. I can't choose between season 1 and Slaysian Royale. Her drag was definitely elevated in Slaysian Royale. She made the best design challenge look in history, but her personality is the same, and that's why I love her. Okay, and now we've reached our winner, Brigading. And this is a no-brainer. I prefer her on Slaysian Royale. On season 1, Brigading expected a lot of herself, and when she didn't deliver, it hit her quite hard mentally. She felt ashamed and embarrassed, and even said she felt arrogant. In Slaysian Royale, she really lived up to what the judges wanted to see from her the first time around. She became the brightest star. She now has one of the best track records in Drag Race history. She's up there with Dayla from All Stars 3, Anjali Anung from Thailand 2, Christian Peralta from Mexico 1, and Jinx Monsoon from All Stars 7. We really can't help but stan her. And pre-season, I never would have guessed Brigading would win Slaysian Royale, but watching her and seeing her edit, it all made sense. And so my friends, this is Original vs All Stars Slaysian Royale edition. Please tell me how you would compare the contestants. I really want to know all of your thoughts, and I'll be back very soon with another video.